great thing about endings is it pretty much guarantees a new beginning. I feel like as we mature through life and as we start to notice patterns and certain dynamics, we get to pick up nuggets of wisdom along the way. And that's the beauty of the yin yang in this plane or dimension that we live in, that as one door closes, another one opens. So we've just experienced our partial solar eclipse on the 29th of March 2025, and usually eclipse season for most people, depending on where you are individually on your journey of life, will experience some kind of ending. And then destiny brings in this beautiful new beginning. I spoke with you, especially the members of the light here in the channel. I did a video talking about the equinox and how there was this, it was so still and calm, and there was a magic to it. There was very new frequencies that seemed to be all around us in the atoms, in the air. It was really beautiful. And I feel that as I tune into these frequencies, the next 4 weeks are going to be instrumental, game-changing, perspective-shifting, opportune and opening. It's the energy is going to start to open now as we wrap up March, and you'll feel that delay or that pause in progress that we all seem to be experiencing with, March retrograde was in shadow. We had Venus retrograde. We still have Venus, and we still have Mercury retro. So they're going to start moving more into the direct energy as April picks up pace. And a lot of you were saying to me, maybe it's time to take action. And if you're feeling that inspiration, wonderful. If you're still feeling this slight delay or pause, that's perfectly fine. That's quite in alignment with what we're experiencing right now. The 2nd or 3rd week of April, a lot of energy starts to really pick up pace and get going. And there's a lightness, there's movement in the dimensional flow. So what is it that you have perhaps put on the back burner? Maybe you just tried everything to move a goal or a project or an opportunity forward, and you just felt like you were knocking on a locked door. Well, there's definitely doorways opening now. And this is very normal and natural after eclipse season. Destiny comes in. Like I said in previous videos, the eclipses often do the heavy lifting for us. It helps us get back into alignment. Truly, that's what the nature of these cosmic events are. It's that where we've been struggling, or where we needed pause, where we needed to stop and evaluate, reflect, decide, choose, select. Even though we may have selected and made those choices, we may not have the means or the circumstance to fully play them out until April and May get going. But certainly in the next 2 weeks, if something is pending, but you just want to work with the flow as best you can, I would say see what crops up in the next 2 weeks. And if something opportune and exciting and wonderful crops up before then, and you feel in your gut that it's the right thing to do, always, guys, trust your gut. Trust your validation for things. I'm just a mirror reflecting parts of you right now. And if you resonate, wonderful. But if you feel something else, that's wonderful too. I'm simply here as, like I said, a channel, a mirror, a guide. But everybody, I'm talking to the collective here, so everybody's journey is very bespoke, is unique. And I encourage you to embrace that. But if we're looking at a collective level, if we're looking at the general consensus, certainly the second week of April, and I'm sure my astrological friends here who are watching, you can confirm this in the comments below. I wouldn't be surprised if there's something about the second week of April that is backing up this message I'm getting about the second week. So it's a great time to think about, what have you procrastinated on or delayed, or like I said, you had to kind of put it aside for a while. I would guess that either you'll get the inspiration to act on that now around the second week of April, or this solar eclipse will bring in some situation or some detail or some information that sheds light on it, so that you're able to move with clarity moving forward now. So let me know in the comments below how you've experienced. I'd love to hear how you experienced this solar eclipse. It definitely affected a lot of people's sleep patterns, not just the night before, but certainly that eclipse corridor. A lot of you were saying that you were finding it difficult to sleep and or disturb sleep, or waking up every 3 or 4 hours. And that was just because you were receiving a lot of new information, downloads from your angels, from your guides, to prepare you and propel you for this whole next eon of your lifetime. We're going through many astrological shifts and changes, and these things will bring in fresh new circumstance. It will bring in a new tribe into your life. It will bring in new work and new avenues to express your soul role, your soul mission here on earth. This is a great time to be a light worker. And I say that as someone who truly in the past has struggled many's a time with being a light worker, as in not being the light worker. I find that quite natural, but trying to fit that into the old 3D model was at times, and if you look back at my videos, you can even see some of those times on camera, it was really, really difficult and really, really challenging. So I feel like we are entering more of the 5D version of our world, and that is going to be so inspiring for us, because finally there's a carved out place, and we have to pay homage and honor to our forebearers, to our ancestors, and to the early indigos who paved the path, the very first crystals, which I was actually one of the, from the early 80s. And we had a tough time. The ones who were coming in, the rainbow children, and also the Rays, the newest, most current soul group coming in, they're going to have a much easier time because of the work that you and I have done. So, to the early indigos, to the ones that came before us, the very first blue rays, the earth angels who've been coming the whole time, wonderful gratitude, respect, honor to you. You know who you are. If I'm talking to you and this resonates, you know who you are. But truly, then when my generation came in, this wave of souls, and then the next ones comes in, we are all helping walk each other home. So thank you. And wherever you fall on that, if you're really young, if you're much, much older, we've all contributed to creating this world that is operating and led from the heart and the soul, and is bringing in a balance back into the yin yang, so that it's not just all patriarchal, 11:11 on the clock. It's also, there's a balance. So the feminine energy is going to come in real strong now. And I still feel there is this quest energetically to say, this is who I am. So these are the parts of life that I resonate with and I connect with. And you'll also find that will also involve having the courage and feeling brave enough to say no, and you've probably done this already, to institutions, organizations, certain ways of being that just don't resonate with you anymore or never have. And now you have the strength and courage to say, I'm not going to be playing in that. But there's a bigger focus now on the yes. So what are you saying yes to in your life? What relationships, what friends, what family dynamic are you saying yes to? Maybe you've come to terms with expressing your boundaries to a certain family member, and you finally have a comfort level in doing that, where before you were afraid to say that, but now you're actually comfortable. Or perhaps you realize that there's a certain environment that you were putting up with or living in that just wasn't respecting who you are now. And what environment are you willing to say yes to? So maybe you're moving and you're making those big changes. But there is a focus on yes. Where can I say yes? What naturally in my heart, where does my heart naturally just go yes? Like, I don't have to think about it. I don't have to, do I want this? Do I want that job? Maybe, it's not like this battle and conflict between the heart and head all the time, where you're tossing and turning about, well, the 3D taught me about practicality and security and da-da-da. I feel like we're kind of, we've done that seesaw, that back and forward for so long. God, I feel like that was going on when we hit like mid 2020. It kind of, we seem to get on this energetic seesaw, and it just wore us out. And it was one foot in the old world, one foot in the new world. And I really feel like we're finally stepping fully embodied onto solid 5D ground now. Even though that's still being decided, even though we're still kind of, when I say decided, I feel like the collective has decided for that. But it's more like where, how, what, in detail, daily life. What will that look like for our lifestyle moving forward, for our institutions, for our education, how we school our children, how we eat our food, how we grow our food, all these kind of big, big, big things. And they seem like little things, but when you add them all up, they actually create our lives. They create our daily habits and culture, right? We are shifting culturally into a very new state of being. And I feel like the nitty-gritty of that is still being very much experimented with and decided. And of course, this brings in AI, this brings in the future of our children, how we raise them, you know, all that stuff. So there's been a lot in the collective to consider, to choose, to select. So give yourself a break now. I definitely got from my angels, there's a need for extra rest. Eclipse season can be quite taxing on the crystalline body, on the energy bodies, and on the physical body. So do take extra rest. Obviously hydrate and ground yourself. Grounding as much as you can around these times, especially. I mean, you need to do that every day anyway, but even if it's just the best you can do is in your meditation, you visualize dropping the roots of light down into the earth, like the roots of a tree, branching out down into the earth and then collecting into the core of the center of the earth. That alone will help to center and ground your energy. So there's a lot for us to process still. You know, this is all very, very fresh, but I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if after any tiredness passes, you start to feel a bit of excitement, or even a joy again, like reconnecting to that innocence, that joy of life. And for me, it's about saying yes to not preparing to live all the time, but actually living. You know, we're always preparing to live. This is the Western world's major issue. I'm so tired of preparing to live. I want to live. So I'm going to do a whole video on that, because I think it's a very unconscious, subtle issue that actually has deep impact, because we're putting our life on hold every time we prepare to live. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. In fact, I leave you with that food for thought. How are you preparing to live, where you could replace that with actual living, actually fully living this moment, not having everything perfect, not always trying to micromanage every little detail, but just diving in and saying, you know, I'm going to live my life right now as it is. Radical acceptance. Something for you to think about. The light in me, as always, recognizes the light in you. And I just want to say thanks and a thank you to all my lovely members. I really appreciate you sharing space with me. And to my subscribers, thank you. And for your likes and shares. Thanks so much, everybody. Keep the light shining.